Have you ever found something that confirmed the thing you were trying so hard not to believe? And even after seeing it with your own eyes, you still found a way to try to explain it away? I did. Yesterday, I told you I was going to read you the message that changed everything. This is what he said. I can't stop thinking about you. And it was from the woman that he told me was just someone from work. I was sitting on the bathroom floor with the door locked, and I remember my hands shaking as I held the phone. At first, I thought it was just one message that I could read and understand what was going on. But it wasn't just one message. It was a whole conversation that has been going on for weeks. There were jokes between them. There were some things that they discussed that sounded more personal than the work relationship that he described or explained to me. And then I noticed something that really bothered me. Some of the jokes he was making with her were the same jokes he had made with me. Things that I thought belonged to us, that it was just us discussing them. Then I saw a picture that she had sent to him from a work event, and he replied, "Stop it, gorgeous." I was shocked. That word, gorgeous, I can't remember the last time it had been used on me by him. And suddenly, I wasn't just reading a conversation anymore. I was comparing that to the relationship I had and I'm living in. I read the whole thread from the beginning, and then I went back and read them all again. And while going over that thread, I think a part of me was hoping that I could find something that would make me feel silly for feeling the way I felt. I wanted to find some innocent explanation. Maybe that was how they talked. Maybe that's how work colleagues talk these days. Maybe they were really close at work. Maybe I am reading too many meanings into those messages. But every time I try to explain something away, I would see something else. Another joke, another message that made me uncomfortable. And eventually, I put the phone down. I knew what I had read, but knowing something and being ready to accept it is another thing altogether. And this is the part that I still find very difficult to explain. I didn't confront him that night. I put the phone back exactly where I found it, and then I went to bed beside him. He was right there, sleeping beside me. And I was awake. I was awake all through the night till 4 a.m. in the morning. And instead of thinking, I need to leave, I was thinking of how I could make what I had just read fit into the relationship that I found myself in. Maybe there was another explanation, maybe I had misunderstood, or just maybe I was a bit too sensitive. And maybe gorgeous didn't mean anything. I kept looking for a version of the story that could allow me to stay comfortable. And I think that was when I realized just how much I had learned to doubt my own feelings. The next morning, I brought it up. I thought I was calm. I said her name. And then I told him that I had seen the messages. And I expected him to explain himself. The most shocking part was that he did not deny that those messages existed, but instead, he said those messages meant nothing. He told me that I was taking a normal work friendship and turning it into something ugly. And then he asked me why I was going through his phone. And just like that, the conversation changed. We were not talking about what he had said to her anymore. We were now talking about what I had supposedly done wrong. And within maybe 90 seconds, I was explaining myself. Again, he told me that if I trusted him, I wouldn't have to bring something like that up. And I remember thinking about that because I had just read the messages. It wasn't as if I was asking him to prove something that I had imagined. It is something I had seen with my eyes. I had seen the messages. But somehow, I was still the one standing there trying to defend my reaction. But during all those times, there was one thing he never said. He never apologized. Not at all. And that stayed with me. Because he always has an explanation for everything else. He has a reason for anything else already ready to give me. He had a way of making the conversation about my trust, my reactions, and my decision to look at those messages. But in all of this, he never said, I am sorry, I had this kind of conversation with a work colleague. And I think my mind noticed something at that moment. But I just wasn't ready to listen to what my mind was telling me. And the truth is, I still stayed. I stayed for 11 months more after reading those messages. And I'm saying that plainly because I don't want it to come across as if I immediately became strong, noticed the red flag, packed up, and left. No. Typical of somebody that is being abused, but she didn't know it. I stayed because I thought I was going to make something out of it, irrespective of what my mind was telling me at that moment. I know somebody watching this may be wondering why. Why did she stay? Why did she see all these red flags and she's still here? Why did she have to take all these things and still stay with somebody that is obviously stepping out on her? Maybe you are asking in your mind, if she saw these messages, why didn't she leave? And let me tell you, honestly, I asked myself that question several times. But when you are inside something like this, leaving isn't always as simple as knowing something was wrong. There are feelings involved. There are promises. There are memories. And there is this version of the person you fell in love with. And then there is the hope that just maybe this was the worst of it. What you are actually going through is the worst. That after that, everything will become better. And then most times, there is something that the person says to you all the time that always makes living feel so impossible. And for me, that came later. And that is the part I'm going to tell you about tomorrow. Because the reason I stayed for those 11 months had nothing to do with love at that point. What I experienced was emotional manipulation and deflection. I brought up something that genuinely hurt and concerned me. But instead of taking responsibility for what he did that actually hurt me, he redirected the whole thing back at my behavior or the reasons why I had to go and snoop through his phone, according to him. He was asking me stuff. Why did I look through his phone? Why did I not trust him? Why did I have to take a simple friendship and turn it into something so ugly? And that can make you forget the question completely. The question that you asked that started that argument, it will make you forget about it. And then you will be on the defensive. And if you have ever brought up something that hurts you, maybe a partner hurt you or something that they did that made you feel bad, and then you had it turned right back at you and the way you reacted because of that thing, just know that you are not alone. You are not alone in this at all. And you are not foolish because you stayed. You are not weak because it took you so long to understand what was happening. And you do not have to be ashamed of that version of yourself that was still trying so hard to make that relationship work. If you have experienced something like this or something similar, you can share it in the comments if you are comfortable. It will help a lot of people. It will help us find our community of help, community of people that come together to know that, oh, this is what we went through and we came out stronger. And maybe we speak about it for people that are still in it, but they cannot put a name to it. if you share your story, if you're comfortable, trust me, it will help one person without you even knowing it. And if you know someone who keeps blaming themselves for everything that goes wrong in a relationship that they are in, send this video to them. It will help them name that thing that they are feeling that they cannot find a name for. And if you have not subscribed to this channel yet, trust me, you would want to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, because we still have a long way to go on this journey. And in tomorrow's video, I'm going to tell you the exact reason I stayed for that 11 months. And I need you to hear this part, because it wasn't simply because I loved him. I'll see you tomorrow.